Full time at Villa Park, and it is finished Aston Villa 1, Liverpool 2, as Sadio Mane headed in his 22nd goal of the season to keep the Premier League title race alive. The Reds fell behind early on after Douglas Luiz capitalised on some hesitant defending at Villa Park prior to Joel Matip drawing on for Liverpool, with Mane, of course, nodding the winner. Well, my name is Patrick Smith, and you're watching the Debrief live on the Blood Red channel, courtesy of the Liverpool Echo, and I'm delighted to be joined by Theo Squires from the Villa Park's press box. So, Theo, job done, just about, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I think everyone, when Villa scored that early goal, you're thinking, oh no, not again. Having that horrible flashbacks to that 7-2 last season. Watkins had got in moments before and Alisson had to deny him. And there was times where Villa were looking so threatening early on. But then, thankfully, Liverpool got an equaliser very quickly through Joel Matip. At times, they looked in control. At others, that they had to work hard for it. But the second half, they were more or less... They did enough. They were on top. So a great goal from Mane, great cross from Diaz to set it up to get it 2-1. Danny Ings had so many chances to come back to haunt his old club. Fortunately, the one time he did get it past Alisson, the flag was up for offside. It wasn't the emphatic win Liverpool would have needed. But at this point, it's just getting the points on the board. You never know. As long as you get the 3 points, City might slip up at some point, and you're there in that position to take advantage. One downer, Fabinho off injured in the first half. We'll find out shortly what the prognosis is there. Hopefully he's not too serious and he'll be okay for the FA Cup final. That might be a bit of a stretch. I think everyone would just say be okay for the Champions League final. But yeah, it's job done, isn't it? That's all you can ask for from Liverpool at this stage of the season. They're not at their free-flowing best, but then no side would be when they're challenging for a quadruple in, the middle of May. You're going to get tired, they're going to get leggy. It's about getting the results in whatever competition you're in, and that's what they've done here tonight.
Well, exactly happens to most teams anyway, let alone playing every game physically possible at the start of the season. We've got so much to talk about. We will move on to Fabinho because that is, of course, the main why for Liverpool fans. But I'm going to start with Villa's opener, Theo, because firstly, there's a claim for the initial Watkins offside because he is offside, and it's bizarre to me because if Alisson lets that shot go in and doesn't save it, the goal's probably going to get disallowed. But then Villa recycle the ball, fair enough to them, play on. The defending was questionable, to say the least, from Liverpool from the rebound, wasn't it?
I've not actually seen the replay back. I know I've seen the shout saying it was offside, and it's definitely offside. It's just something else they need to clarify. It's strange, isn't it? It's an advantage to the side if Alisson doesn't save it and it's offside. But then I reckon they're a little bit unlucky from the actual goal because Tsimikas is out-jumped, isn't he, from Douglas Luiz, but Watkins is on the floor and Matip's only not in the mix because he can't see Watkins behind him and he trips over him as he's going to go for the ball. So no one can work against that. Alisson makes a good save, and because everyone's on the floor, Luiz is there to get in the rebound. It is a bit sloppy, and it was in those first 5 minutes when Villa were looking like they were going to get this opening goal. They were getting in behind Liverpool, and moments earlier, Alisson had to save from Watkins. It's one of those where, yes, you could say disallow it for offside, but it's the clarification of the rules. How often have we said this in the past, that the rules aren't clear, that you'll see one decision go 1 week and it's not the next? It's just discretion. You want some clarity from VAR if they could have piped in and said, hang on. But no, it's a different stage of play, isn't it? If you can have video technology to correct calls, surely it has to be a bit more black and white, but obviously that's not what we've got here tonight, and I don't think any of us are surprised by that. Just be glad that Liverpool got the win and it didn't prove costly tonight.
Well, exactly. That's a freak goal the way it went in, and we have developed a bad habit, I think, at Liverpool of when we know it's offside, we sort of hesitate, and I think they were waiting for that flag, which didn't come, hence all the confusion in the box, and Luiz was able to poke it in. But it was a very interesting refereeing performance all around tonight, to be fair to the Villa fans. I think Mr. Moss has some questions to answer, but the VAR one there could have definitely helped for Liverpool. But it was a formidable response, wasn't it, Theo, from a formidable side as well. Possibly one of the ugliest goals I've seen us score ever, but it doesn't really matter, does it? Anything to see Joel Matip scoring and smiling once again.
Yeah, it was a proper poacher's effort from Joel Matip there. He's just in the right place in the 6-yard box to poke it in after Van Dijk's. I'm going to say it was a shot and it took a knock off the keeper and fell to him rather than him putting
it. It did look like a shot, to be fair.
Yeah, but it could have been a pass. We never know. But then it all came from Tyrone Mings just tripping on the ball when he didn't really have anyone near him, Liverpool-wise, from a Liverpool free kick. It was, as you say, rather ugly. But when you're falling 1-0 down, you take any equaliser, however it comes, and just be glad that the player put it in the back of the net. I think it was Bob Paisley maybe, he said, doesn't matter how you put it in the back of the net. We'll discuss the options once it's in the back of the net. That's what Liverpool did, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. They've got that crucial equaliser, but then the terrible news of the evening happened. Theo, Fabinho's gone down. I don't think we've had any feedback just yet on the extent of the injury, but it's really worrying signs with being so close to the end of the season with massive games to play, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. Let's be honest, he had a poor first 25 minutes, whether he'd got the injury early on and he was playing through it a little bit. But Coutinho stole the ball off the midfield and something's gone and he's holding the back of his leg. Don't want to speculate on what it could be at this point, but when he could go down, he went down, received a bit of treatment on the pitch, and then he limped off. It was obvious he wasn't going to carry on. I think it was Naby Keita gesturing, saying we're going to have to make the change here, get Jordan Henderson ready. It is that worrying sight because Fabinho is so crucial to this Liverpool side. He's part of the spine, part of the reason why they weren't at their best, say, last season when they had to put him in centre-back, or as much as when he was out injured along with Van Dijk and the other centre-backs. You'd imagine Jordan Henderson is a number 6. They can still win an FA Cup final. They can still get the results to at least finish second. But you want him back for that Champions League final. He is going to be crucial for that one. We'll find out. We could find out now if Jurgen Klopp's talking to Sky Sports somewhere, looking around for camera, seeing if they've called him over yet. But yeah, I'm sure as soon as he does his interviews, he'll offer a little bit of an update. And then the way the games are coming thick and fast, I'm sure we'll have a press conference again in like 2 days, won't we? So we'll find out soon enough. Maybe you'd imagine as he couldn't carry on the FA Cup final, will probably come too soon for him, but we'll see. It could have just been precautionary because when you've got so many vital games, when you're challenging for every single trophy, you don't want to take risks. Jurgen Klopp had made changes so he could rotate the body, so he could rest legs, and that's why Jordan Henderson was sitting on the bench tonight. He had him to come on. It could go either way, couldn't it? We'll see.
Yeah, I'm not going to hold my breath for Jurgen Klopp making a Debrief debut to give us a Fabinho injury update. It is speculation at the moment, so let's hope, fingers crossed, there's nothing too serious. It looks like it's hamstring, but of course we don't know, so we can't really speculate. It'll be much more clear in the coming days. But Theo, on a more positive note, we did get that second goal that sends us back level at the top before City play tomorrow. More brilliance again from Luis Diaz with the ball in. It's 22 now for the season for Mane. Unreal form, particularly in 2022 from him, isn't it?
You're getting a bit ambitious, aren't you? Aren't we still second?
We're level.
Yeah, I'll let it slide. Don't worry, Pat. Yeah, it was a great poacher's effort from Mane as well. It was not his best performance. It wasn't his most vintage. He looked a bit, I don't know, same as some of the players, a little bit tired, not the best. And you think if Mohamed Salah was in the form of his life as he'd been in the autumn, maybe Mane would have been the one to drop out today. But he's popped up when his side needed him to put in a great header. He got so much power in it to put it in that corner away from Martinez's grasp. But it was such a good play in the build-up as well from Diaz to get down the wing, pull it back onto his right foot. And it seemed to be one spot where he could put the ball to pick out his teammate and to avoid the Villa defenders. And that's exactly where he put it. Not making it easy for Mane, but making it simpler for Mane. I think it was Jota, wasn't it, who did the through ball to him in the first place, a little loft down the line. That was a great spot as well. Jota had a good second half. This front three, obviously, when you've got players in different positions, it's not played together that often. I know we saw it at Newcastle a couple of weeks ago. Doesn't look as flowing, as exceptional as Salah, Mane and Diaz has been in the past, but there's some promising signs there. It was, like I said, encouraging from Jota, considering he's had a few dodgy performances recently. Mane's in the second half of the season, he's been the man for the big occasion. He's stepped up when his side need these goals. He's obviously enjoying his football at the moment. We all saw those rumours yesterday about his future and how it's very uncertain, shall we say. Well, if he's redefining himself as this striker, we know how good he is out wide. He's been putting up these important goals. Liverpool will have a decision to make in the summer when they do open talks, because he has been a superb player from the moment he first stepped through the door at Anfield. And even now, he's 30 and he's still scoring the goals, still coming up big. And you know, if they're going to win the FA Cup, if they're going to win the Champions League, he's probably going to have a rather big say in it, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. He really is the man of the moment with his Ballon d'Or charge. And I agree that it was a very positive display from Jota, someone who's not necessarily the best in build-up play, but it's much better today. But someone who struggled once again, Theo, is Mohamed Salah, another mediocre. I don't want to be too harsh because he obviously still is the best player in the Premier League, but he's not been brilliant as of late, has he, Salah? He's clearly struggling a bit.
I thought he showed glimpses when he came on tonight. He could have scored with his first touch. Like, it seemed he'd got away from, I think it was Konsa, but then he just took a heavy touch when Konsa was on the floor and Martinez has got it. It's just not quite falling for him, and it's in complete contrast to the first half of the season when everything fell for him. But when he touched the ball, all to do was breathe and it was in the back of the net. Now he's still 2 goals from open play since the middle of February, and he's just not had a good second half of the season. He's now gone without scoring in more games than he's scored in. And we've said all this stuff about what it could be. It could be uncertainty about his future. It could be fatigue because he's played so much football. So many periods of extra time when he was away with Egypt. Could be international heartache. He's missed out on the World Cup. He's missed out on winning the Africa Cup of Nations. And he's, 29, 30 in the summer. This is the peak years of his football and career. And next time those tournaments come around, he's going to, you'd imagine, slowly be on the decline. But then it would have been superhuman for him to carry on the rate of knots he was scoring goals in the first half of the season. If he was in that form, he doesn't get benched tonight. I know Klopp likes to rest his players and have the legs ready when he's got these options there, but something's just not clicking for him at the moment. And I don't want it to be as simple as his future's uncertain, it's weighing on his mind, and like they agree a contract, he's fine, or this is just Mohamed Salah we're going to see until 2023. He has played a lot of football, and there are so many different parts that could be contributing to it. He's obviously got some weight on his shoulders, whatever it is. But then all players go through runs like this. We've seen it from Salah before. 1 minute he's scoring 2-3 goals a game. The next he'll go on a little bit of a goal-scoring drought. The only difference to when he's done it before is Liverpool now have Diaz who can come in. They have Jota who can come in. They have the options where they can take him out the firing line a little bit. And we say it with him all the time. Write him off at your peril. Like, it's another game where he's not scored. But what are the odds of him scoring the winning goal, either or stepping up and scoring the winning penalty against his former club at Wembley in the FA Cup final on Saturday? He's still that man for the big occasion. He's one where you don't want to drop him. Like I've just said with Mane, if Liverpool are going to win the FA Cup, if Liverpool are going to win the Champions League, or even if they're going to somehow win this Premier League title, he should have a big say in it. Don't write him off yet, but he is long overdue another run of goals, isn't he?
Well, exactly that. He is long overdue, and it's perhaps not been the right game for him to come on tonight. He's done a lot of tracking back for the ball, etc. And who knows, maybe on Saturday's FA Cup final, he'll bang a hat-trick in and shut all the doubters up, Theo, won't he? But once again, my last question is that when we're in a position where we've played before City, we're relying on them to drop points again tomorrow. It's a tough game for them against Wolves, someone who we struggled against earlier this season with the Origi last-minute winner. Is there any hope for us tomorrow, Theo? It's my question again.
When they've struggled against Wolves in the past, when we're talking about Man City, it's because they've had Adama Traore and he's at Barcelona. So I'm not feeling too hopeful, to be honest, because he is the one who's been the one to cause them problems and be Liverpool's saviour in the past. They've still got pacey options. They've still got a bit of power, but they don't have him. Now, City just look like this juggernaut that always find a way to win these league games. They're so horribly consistent, and now they'll have the boost of they've just spent 50-60 million on one of the best strikers in the world. Not bad being top of the league without a striker. Now we know they're going to have one next year on top of that. But stranger things have happened. We've said it as well with Manchester United. They're falling apart at the wrong time. Well, it's never really happened for us all this season, has it? But it means the race for Europe is still open. Like, the focus is maybe on that race for the top 4. But Wolves can still finish in 7th. They can still get into the Conference League. West Ham, who's the game after Wolves for City, they can still finish 6th. They can still get into the Europa League. If they really want to get into Europe, if they're properly fighting for it, then they could cause an upset. But you need to see a side attack City. You need to see it take it to them, maybe get the opening goal or just frustrate them and do it really well. Gorski said to me so many times during this game, if City were playing Villa, they'd probably win 4-0. Like, they always seem to stroll to victories against the rest of the league, whereas Liverpool have to grind the wins out. It'd be nice if someone made it a little bit more difficult for them and made it more of a challenging title race. But we're 3 games in, it's still a title race. It's going to be painful either way if Liverpool don't win it at this point. But then we're probably resigned to the fact that it is a little too much to do too late. Never give up hope, but it's not, is it? Let's be pessimistic, and then we can be pleasantly surprised if there is an upset. That's my motto.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Be pessimistic, and then we can be delighted with any outcome, because Wolves themselves are chasing that last European spot. It's a midweek evening kickoff. I'm not sure how many of them they do get at Molineux. So fingers crossed for a big upset, and hopefully,
could be a good atmosphere because Molineux is good under those lights. We'll see.
Exactly. Maybe a 4-0 win for Wolves would do us an absolute favour and send us top. But we'll have to wait until tomorrow to know the outcome of that. That is all the time we've got for today on the Debrief. Thank you all very much for watching along with myself, Patrick Smith, and Theo Squires. But from us, it's goodbye for now.